just tell me about the University of New Brunswick and its two campuses.
Yeah, sure. For those who aren't familiar with the University of New Brunswick, we are the oldest university in Canada, 235 years of history. We're a Canadian university that would be considered comprehensive. As a comprehensive university, of course, that means we offer a very wide range of programs at 3 separate levels of study. So that's undergraduate studies, master's studies, and PhD studies. UNB is comprised of approximately 11,000 full-time students. Those students are spread over 14 separate faculties. UNB also is a bi-campus institution, which means we have one campus in Fredericton, New Brunswick, that's the capital city of the province, and a second campus located in St. John, New Brunswick. St. John is the largest city in the province and a port city.
So, what are the courses available in these two?
So over the course of the 14 faculties that we offer, I think maybe it's easier to speak to what's most popular for our international students that are incoming, in particular students that are incoming from India. As we sit here today, I think that the appetite for international students is geared towards programming like engineering. UNB's Faculty of Engineering offers 7 different engineering departments, and those include mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, electrical engineering, civil engineering, geomatic and geodesy engineering, as well as computer and software engineering. So I think that's one of the largest draws for international students to UNB. UNB's, I think, probably one of the top engineering schools here in Canada, which means, of course, coming to study engineering here is a competitive process, like with a lot of Canadian universities. Further to engineering, I think computer science tends to be one of the biggest draws for our international students. Particularly over the last few years, where we've developed Canada's National Research Centre in cybersecurity. I think cybersecurity is becoming a global phenomenon now, and it's certainly an area where students can see the direct employability options from a degree in something like computer science that's focused in cybersecurity. So that's, of course, a very popular draw here at UNB for international students. Beyond that, faculties of business, of course. I think business is always popular, and I think there's always a place for students to come and study business, and particularly in Canadian universities that really try to focus their efforts in things like cooperative education, experiential education, so that upon graduation, students not only have a degree from a Canadian university, but they have some sort of practical experience in their pocket that they could take to employers when they're looking for work opportunity post-graduation. A faculty of environmental science and environmental management. It may not ring a lot of bells for students abroad, particularly students in India. However, I think it remains to be seen that this is another field that is developing. And as prospective students who are listening in today, you need to be focused not on what you're going to be doing in the fall, but you need to be thinking about where you're going to be in 5 years' time, post-graduation, and what the employment situation, both here in New Brunswick, here in Canada, and around the world is going to look like. And certainly the world of environmental management is an area where we as a planet are going to need more and more and more professionals. So it's another faculty, I think, that's worth giving a strong look at. Of course, we have faculties of science and faculties of arts and faculty of nursing and so on. But really, I think for the majority of our international students, engineering, computer science, business, and environmental management would be the big 4.
This UNB has been very popular among the Indian students. Tell me about what is the minimum requirement for getting admission into the various courses?
So we're generally looking for as a minimum, and let's be frank, minimums are just that. It's a minimum number. It's not a guarantee.
Yes.
but we're looking for overall grades of around 75%. Now, when we talk about the more competitive faculties, such as engineering and computer science, the average entrance grades would be much higher than 75%. And I think this past year for engineering, it was 86%. So we encourage our students to ensure that they have as high as grades possible coming out of their high school programs. And as we know, the situation in the world is a little bit different than it was a few months ago. And we know that exams are delayed and some exams are postponed completely. We're aware of that here, and we're doing what we can to assist our students in gaining admission to the programs of their choice. So for CBSE students, as an example, we're just going to be reviewing the core course grades. So we're not going to be meeting the state exams or the board exams. We're simply going to be able to look at those core course grades and make an evaluation based upon those.
Just tell me about the range of the fees for these courses for Indian students.
I'm sorry, would you repeat that? You're cut out.
What is the range of fees for these courses?
The tuition fees.
Tuition fees.
Yeah. So tuition at UNB is by program. We can say that the least expensive program, I believe, is our Faculty of Arts, and that's approximately 16,000 Canadian dollars per year. The most expensive faculty here is the Faculty of Engineering, and that's approximately 18,000 Canadian dollars a year. So the range would vary between 16 and 18 for international students. And I'll preface that by saying that that's the cost of your tuition. That's not the cost of housing or any additional costs like books and supplementary fees.
Just tell me the kind of residence available from the university for the students.
Yeah, we would like to encourage our, particularly our first year international students to consider living on campus. UNB has 17 residence buildings on our campuses for our students to live in. The fees for residence here are between 8 and 10,000 Canadian dollars for an academic year, but it also includes all of their meals. And life in residence, I think, is beneficial for students in a couple of aspects. Firstly, it's easy. You can wake up, you can go to breakfast, you can go to class. You don't have to be concerned about shopping for food, preparing your own meals, and other things that may take your attention away from what's most important, of course, which is your studies. Secondly, residence keeps you on campus. Campus is safe. Campus is beautiful, and campus is where you're going to meet a lot of like-minded people, and it's an opportunity to make a lot of friends. So certainly for your first year, I think it's highly beneficial for students to spend at least that first year living in residence on campus.
Please just tell me about the scholarships. UNB is known for the scholarships, the kind of scholarships available, and then will it be for the first year or can it be the carry forward subsidy?
Yeah, UNB has a fairly innovative scholarship program. The program, we refer to it as the UNB Renewable Opportunities Program. Scholarships are given to international students and domestic students. The pool of money that we use to draw those scholarships from is approximately 12 million Canadian dollars annually. So the volume of money is high, and it's our prerogative to make sure that as many students as possible can receive some scholarship funding towards their education. The scholarships themselves are merit-based. So we divide them out based on the highest incoming GPAs. So for an international student, we may have a scholarship between, at the low end of maybe 1,000 Canadian dollars. At the high end, it could be as high as 40,000 Canadian dollars. So there's a big discrepancy there, but it is a merit-based system. As it's a renewable opportunity, that means that the student in their second year has the ability to maintain their scholarship. So if we offer you $5,000 in year one and you're successful, you will receive the same $5,000 in year two, year three, year four, and so on. Should your GPA increase after year one, we would increase your scholarship funding correspondingly. So students who work hard are well rewarded from a scholarship perspective.
This Coop program has been the highlights of the UNB. Just elaborate about the Coop program.
So co-op or cooperative education, or as we refer to it also in Canada as experiential learning or learning by experience, UNB offers co-op opportunities in all 14 of our faculty. Co-op is not a mandatory program. However, it is highly encouraged, and I think it's beneficial for a student to do at least one semester of co-op education, particularly students who have an eye on staying and working here in Canada post-graduation. A university degree from a Canadian university is a great thing to have in your pocket, but some viable work experience that's connected to your field of study, I think, is even better. And that really makes these students attractive in the job market after they've graduated. So because of that, we do have co-op opportunities in all 14 faculties, and we really strongly encourage students to take part in co-op if they're comfortable doing so.
This not having the maths in the prime subject as commerce student, as a science student is the common phenomenon in Indian students. What are the courses would you like to recommend for student not having maths in class 12?
So I did mention that we have those 14 faculties. So of those 14, there is only one faculty that would not require math for entry, and that would be our Faculty of Arts. That being said, we are of course aware that CBSE students in particular don't always have the opportunity to take senior level math in their final year. We have found some creative ways to assist those students in their studies here at UNB. And let's use a scenario. Let's say a student would like to come to UNB to study business. Their grades are strong, but they're just missing that core math course. What we've done in the past and what we're able to continue doing in the future is to offer that student admission into the Faculty of Arts. The student can then take the preliminary math course in their first semester. And by Christmas time, so the start of semester 2, that student can be moved back into the Faculty of Business, providing, of course, they pass that math course in good standing. And that math course for us is a calculus course, and it's called Math 1865. Now, because of the way the world is changing, I would also encourage students listening here to take a look at our website and see which courses are offered online over the summer months. And you will see that Math 1865 is available. This is something that a student can do from home over the course of the summer, earn the credit, and then there would be no need for them to begin in the Faculty of Arts when they arrive in September. They would begin directly in the Faculty of Business. Further to that, we also promote, particularly in India, the virtual math or the virtual high school math course. It's another way that students can very quickly get the credit. I know virtual math or virtual high school, pardon me, is rather expensive. However, it is a shortcut to entry directly into the faculty.
Does it apply for the other program also, like kinesiology, nursing program, same criteria of maths for them also?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat your question?
This is the same criteria implies for the other courses like nursing and kinesiology?
So all of the, in terms of an admissions perspective, the Faculty of Nursing, they do entertain international applicants. However, their deadline is very early in the year. We have the capacity to take about 100 new nursing students each year, and we would receive approximately 2,500 to 3,000 applicants. So the application process actually closes for nursing on the 1st of March. That's not to say that students who are listening in today couldn't be applying for September of 2021, but you can find the application process for nursing on our website, and I would encourage students to follow through if that's an area that they're really interested in. Another thing that I'll mention as we talk about nursing, and UNB has just received approval to begin a brand new degree program. It will be the first degree of its type inside of Canada. We're very, very excited about it. And it will be a Bachelor of Health degree. Within this program, there will be 3 separate streams. Stream number 1 is related to science. So it's a biomedical and bioscience healthcare related field. Stream number 2 is related to humanities and social sciences. So this would be beneficial as well for students who have not got the math, because they will be able to make those applications without the senior level math. So that's more connected to health policy. If you think of how the world has changed, and when we watch the world changing here from our perspective in New Brunswick, we've been very, very proud of our healthcare professionals, particularly here in this province. And I think they're doing a fabulous job of keeping the people of New Brunswick and the people of Canada safe. And I think that others have now realized that maybe this is a world for me. Maybe this is a career path for me if I want to be helpful and I want to help people. The third stream in the Bachelor of Health is related to business. So the business side of health, managing hospitals, managing healthcare providers, managing clinics. So we're taking these 3 faculties, arts, science, and business, and creating a degree program called the Bachelor of Health. And I think that's going to be a very interesting program, and it's the first of its kind in Canada.
When you are going to start?
This program will actually begin in September of 2020. So just a few weeks from now, we will be opening up the applications for this program starting the end of next week.
My question was related to the previous question, was the same mass requirement which was for the business program. Same it goes with the nursing and psychology program. Don't have the mass, can go for the with additional mass either online or can join there also.
Yeah, so they can, without the math, they can't be directly admitted into the faculty. So we just need to find a creative way to help them get the credit and then get admitted directly. So whether it's business or engineering or computer science or nursing, we would need that math. And we're all familiar, I think, with Indian students and the issue with not having that math requirement. So we can always find a way to accommodate students. And look, at the end of the day, UNB is looking to attract the best students. Just because you're missing a math course really doesn't mean that you're not a strong student. It just means there was something missing from your curriculum. So we're committed to helping those students and working with them through the process so that we can get them here and get them into the program of their choice.
Great, Chris. So you have elaborated all the courses. I would like to throw some light on the master degree program also, 2 master degree program. One is MBA and another is MQIM. And these 2 are the very popular programs. Just tell me a little bit about these 2 programs also.
Yeah, let's talk about what we call an MQIM first. This is a very, very specialized program. It's also very unique in Canada. The acronym actually stands for a Master's in Quantitative Investment Management. This is particularly relevant for students who have career aspirations as stockbrokers, students who will be working on the floor in a stock exchange, buying, selling, trading. That's what this program is designed to prepare students for. The program is a 1-year program, and it also has a practical module built into it, so that the students have X amount of time in the classroom and lectures and working with the professors and professionals from the industry, but they also have a work experience component built in. So we want them to have the ability to earn their master's degree in investment management, as well as have some practical experience, because that's just going to help make them that much more employable upon graduation. MBA, I think everybody knows what an MBA degree is, and every university probably on planet Earth has an MBA to provide. Students choose the MBA in New Brunswick for various reasons. I think our MBA is a very popular program, again, because of its work experience component. So a 2-year MBA course, students will spend really only about 8 months total in the classroom. The rest of the time over that 2-year period is working with companies here in the province of New Brunswick and earning that valuable work experience that's going to help them in the work world post-graduation. So those two programs, you're right, they are very popular. We're looking for students who have good standing from their previous university degrees. Of course, an undergraduate degree would be mandatory for graduate programs at UNB. We look for a GPA of 3.2 or higher. And keep in mind that the Canadian scale is 4.3 at the top of the scale. Students can make those adjustments as they need to. GMAT is a required examination, and many of the students that I've met in India in particular seem to have some sort of an aversion to writing the GMAT test. I would encourage you to go right ahead and do it. It's not nearly as complicated as you think it might be, and it's a key that will unlock many doors for you in your future. The test can be done online, as you're well aware, and I would strongly recommend a GMAT test for anybody who's thinking about graduate programs in Canada. We look for a GMAT test score of 550, and I think that's pretty much the standard rate across the country.
Is it mandatory to have the GMAT, or otherwise can you be relaxed by the work experience the student has?
I'd like to say that it's mandatory, but the reality is the faculty will review based on a student's previous degree experience. So let's say if a student has an undergraduate degree in business with an extraordinarily high GPA, the faculty may say that writing GMAT is not a necessary requirement. But really, it's only going to help you to do the exam.
In India, there are two types of graduate. One is 3-year graduation and another is 4-year graduation. So would you accept 3-year graduation also for these two programs, MBA?
Yes. Yes, they do. They do accept the 3-year degree program, but with the 3-year degree program, GMAT does become mandatory.
What is the tuition fees for both the programs?
So the MBA is $36,000 for the course. That's not per year. That's for the entire 2-year course. And the MQIM program is $40,000 for the year. And it's a 1-year program.
So Chris, the UNB is the very popular university for the international students, so is the Indian students. You have covered elaborately all the aspects. So what you would be like to brief to the Indian student why they should come to the UNB, the main highlight of the university?
Sure. You know, UNB, we're proud of UNB and we're proud of this university, and in particularly in these difficult times, it's nice to see people stepping up to help one another. This university has, as I mentioned earlier, we have around 11,000 full-time students, and we're getting close now to almost 20% of our student population being comprised of international students. But the strategy that we've taken at UNB for our international recruitment purposes is to grow the university and its international population. But while growing, we want to diversify. We're not focused on having large cohorts of students from 1 or 2 particular countries. So currently at UNB, we have 108 different countries represented. Of course, India is one. And our numbers and our popularity in India continue to grow. The province of New Brunswick as a province is very welcoming to international students. In fact, international students factor in very favorably to the province's immigration strategy. This is a province, unlike maybe BC or Ontario, that has a relatively small population. And we have goals to grow our population. And in order to do that, we need to offer friendly and welcoming immigration policies to people coming from around the world. And for us, and in the opinion of me and the government of New Brunswick, the best people to stay here are the people that we can educate here at UNB first.
This one last question, which is important one. What is the post-work permit available for the student after completing the graduation or master degree?
What is the employment?
Post-work permit.
Well, the postgraduate work permit, of course, is a federal government program here in Canada. So all international students have the ability to take advantage of that. That program allows students to work and live here in Canada for 3 years after their graduation. The permit itself, students generally begin to apply for the permit in August of their last year of school. It takes a couple of weeks for the permit to come. It gets put in your passport. Your status has now changed from student visa to postgraduate work permit. It allows students to work. The reality is, though, is that most students that find those full-time jobs will only be on the postgraduate work permit for the short term because they're going to change their status to a full-time permanent resident very quickly. The average time for international students in New Brunswick to move from postgraduate work permit to permanent resident is about 18 months. So it's relatively short in comparison to other provinces.
It goes same with the MQIM program also. What is the post-work permit scenario for the MQIM?
It's the same. It's still a 3-year postgraduate work permit. Yeah.
Great. So let me thank you, Chris. You have taken so much time out of your busy schedule and spare time early in the morning. And this would be very benefit for the Indian student. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Happy to have the discussion. Best of luck. Please be safe, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
You too, please. Thank you.
Okay.